I'm sure you've heard that expression, first impressions count. And that's the principle behind this lesson. You only really get one shot to make an impression. Now, does that mean that if you feel like you don't make the best impression possible on your first meeting, all of your chances are ruined? No, far from it. The fact of the matter is, when you're meeting and getting to know someone for the first time, particularly if they're a busy working professional, they might not have time to give you a second opportunity if the first one wasn't great for whatever reason. This could be due to a lack of chemistry, this could be due to the weather, this could be due to one of you arriving late. That's why we want to ensure that you're making the best possible first impression that's possible for you at that point in time. What do I mean by this? When you have the chance to meet someone in person for the first time, and this also applies to meeting someone on video chat, you want to make sure that you're awake, you're healthy, and you want to engage. All of us go through certain times of the month or of the year where we don't want to talk to anyone. And women in particular go through this phase at least once a month, usually at the end of their menstrual cycle. So whether you're a man or a woman watching this video, what I invite you to bear in mind as you schedule the times when you go on these first dates, think about how you're going to feel on that first date and plan a little bit. Am I going to be able to give the best of myself to this individual while we're having our first early conversations or not? And if the answer is no, consider rescheduling. Why? Because given that the individual you're meeting is likely to have other opportunities in their schedule to meet interesting, like-minded individuals, you want to give that individual the impression that you are worth meeting, you're worth getting to know, you're someone exciting, interesting, ambitious, with a lot to offer to the right partner. And the best way to do this is by being present, available mentally and physically, and interested, genuinely interested in getting to know this individual. Now, I'm going to give you two examples of someone who doesn't seem very interested and why, and someone who does seem very interested. Remember, both individuals are just being themselves in the conversation. Now, in example one, let's talk about a guy named Abhishek who met with my student named Monica during a first date. Now, Abhishek has a high pressure job. He works a lot and he works long hours. This job has taken a toll on him over the last couple of years, and he'd like to change, but he hasn't yet figured out what he's going to do next. So for the moment, he's still in his high pressure job. He agrees to have a date with Monica, and right before the date, he gets COVID. So he's in bed and the date comes and goes. He doesn't show up to the meeting. And after the video chat date, he sends Monica an email saying, you know what, I got COVID, I was sick in bed. That's mistake number one. It does not mean you shouldn't get sick and cancel your date. Of course you should, that's a logical thing to do. However, we're here to discuss first impressions and how to improve your first impression. But the story doesn't end there. The next thing that happened is Abhishek said, I wrote to Abhishek and I said, Abhishek, why don't you reach out to Monica and ask for another date? After all, you guys do have a lot in common. You live in the same country and you want the same things in a long-term relationship. So reach out to her. He said, sure, I'll do it on Monday. And I sent him the email on Friday. So again, this lack of taking action immediately doesn't bode well. He reached out to Monica not on Monday morning, not on Monday evening, but on Tuesday morning. Monica was already annoyed by the fact that he had just missed that first meeting. And naturally, of course, we can all understand that someone falls sick, but none of us like to feel disrespected, confused, and maybe just not important when someone misses a meeting with us. So when he did reach out on Tuesday morning for a second date, Monica wasn't interested anymore. She had lost interest and moved on to other individuals. She had checked out. This is scenario one. What happens when the best possible impression you can make doesn't get made? And we miss that chance to get to know a wonderful individual. Scenario number two is Rajan and Jessica. Rajan and Jessica met through a work conference, and they both felt a little bit of a spark, but again, a work conference wasn't an environment where either of them felt comfortable discussing meeting again and having some kind of interaction. So Rajan took Jessica's email from the attendee list and sent her a message 2 days after the conference. He said, Jessica, I really enjoyed meeting you at the conference, but I feel like our conversation got interrupted, or maybe it just wasn't the right situation to have a deeper conversation. I'd love to get to know you better, maybe take you out for a coffee. How about Saturday at 5 p.m. at this coffee shop? If you're available, here's my number. Just send me a message saying yes, and I'll be there at 5 p.m. on Saturday. Jessica also enjoyed the interaction with Rajan, and she wanted to see him again, but she had a lot going on at that point besides preparing her presentation for the conference, and it just slipped her mind to follow up with Rajan herself. So when she got that message, oh, how simple it was for her to just say yes. And that's what I want to reiterate to you in this lesson. The power of giving someone an opportunity to just say yes to do. What do you think happened with Jessica and Rajan? Jessica sent that email saying yes with a smiley face. She and Rajan then met at a coffee shop just a few days after the conference, when that first impression was still fresh, when that sensation that maybe we might have something more to talk about, something more to explore here. And they enjoyed their first coffee so much, they ended up going for dinner afterwards. And after dinner, they took a walk around town, even though it was drizzling. This is the power of capitalizing on your opportunity to get to know an individual with whom it seems you might share a lot in common, and you want to verify if that person could be someone special for you. Here's what I want you to focus on. When you're making that first impression, focus on giving yourself the best possible chance. After all, although it's not the only opportunity, the best time is the first time. And in this program, throughout the Perfect Match system, we focus on preparing and planning our approach to attracting our soulmate into our lives. And you want to give your soulmate a respectful experience in meeting and getting to know you by being present, aware, and interested in them. And you can ensure that you are by planning to be present, aware, and interested. Make sure that when you reach out to that individual, you plan a time to meet that is specific, when you are able to be physically available, mentally available, present with that individual, and make sure that you only reach out to individuals you actually want to get to know, people who match your ideal partner profile. If it's a mediocre interaction, they're not going to feel excited about getting to know you further or going on a second date. Your focus is on making that best possible first impression by doing the work that we've explored in previous lessons before you get to that first date.